Welcome to Real Estate Meets AI, the podcast where we explore how AI is reshaping real estate, construction, and the built environment one conversation at a time. I'm your host, Sandeep Ahuja, CEO and co-founder of Cove, a full-service architecture practice that runs on AI to drive smarter, faster, and more innovative outcomes. As an architect and building scientist, I've spent the past decade helping teams turn design challenges into data-driven wins. Now, I want to get into the nitty-gritty, the nuts and bolts of real estate, AI, and data that my industry peers and I have cultivated, applying behind-the-scenes knowledge to the trends we see in action today and deliver it directly to you. This podcast is about demystifying AI in real estate, pulling back the curtain to show you the real system, workflow, and decision-making that power our built environment. In each episode, I sit down with industry leaders, trailblazing developers, and tech innovators to unpack ideas, lessons, and real-world stories. You'll hear what's happening, what's working, what's evolving, and what it really takes to lead in an AI-driven world. This is the Real Estate Meets AI podcast. Hello, and welcome to our podcast. Today, we have a fantastic guest joining us. With me, I have Keats, a seasoned technology expert with over 20 years of experience across industries. Keats is currently the Chief Technology Officer at Lincoln Property Company, where he is driving digital transformation in real estate. He previously led emerging tech initiatives at Hines and even spearheaded AI-driven transformation at Chevron. In short, he's someone who truly bridges the gap between high-tech and brick-and-mortar world of real estate. Keats, welcome to the show. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the kind introduction.
Well, I'd be also curious, just on a personal note, I'd love to, obviously, I've grown up all over the world, and I think so have you. I'd just love to learn a little bit more about that.
Sure. No, a broad background. Grew up as South Asia. My dad had jobs all across the world, so I've traveled. I've lived, in 3 continents. But Miami's home. I grew up close to the beach.
That's a good
My heart.
home.
It is a great home. My heart is close to the water, close to the beach. Today I'm in Dallas. I miss the water. We got a couple of nice lakes, but there's something about the waves, the ocean breeze, and I will die on this hill. I think South Florida, Miami has some of the best beaches. Bring it on Hawaii. I will put Miami, at par with any
Oh,
of those
that's
beaches.
pretty controversial. Okay. Um, we might have just started a controversy here.
Yes.
Absolutely. So our topic today is tech and AI in real estate, and you're one of the best people to guide us through it. So let's go ahead and dive right in. I want to start with something that we call the AI meter. Basically, it's a scale from 1 to 5, and how far along, basically, do you think the real estate industry is in adopting AI?
Now, I think for as far as the aspiration goes, I say 3, but where we are today, I say 1.
That's really interesting that you say that. I know there's a lot of buzz, but perhaps not so much action. In fact, I think I saw a recent survey of real estate CFOs that said something like 97% of the firms said they're interested in AI, but only 14% are actually using it in a real way, and a bunch are experimenting. So it definitely lines up with what you say. The aspiration at 3, we're really at 1. What do you think is that middle ground? What do you think is stopping people from taking that plunge to we're thinking about it to we're doing something with it?
I think there's a lot of fear what AI is, what it will do to processes, to people, and so on. So first of all, there's a fear that AI will replace people. It will not. It will augment you. It will give you more time to do your job. Secondly, the biggest challenges are data sets. Real estate is so far behind in having standard data sets, having a structured data strategy. Most thing we do, again, today at Lincoln and Hines, it's all bespoke. So we sign unique contracts, we make unique deals. So it's hard to have a data structure that an AI can easily understand and make sense of it. So a human augmented AI may be the answer, but I think the fear right now and the cost of the data strategy is the one which is sort of a biggest factor that is not making us take the big leap towards AI.
That is a really interesting way to think about it, that it's really down to the data and what's even possible. With that, I mean, obviously, the whole point of this particular podcast and this conversation, and at least the things that I love to dig into, is the true real world things, like the real world examples of how AI is being used either at your current company or somewhere in real estate industry that you've seen up close? Maybe a project that you worked on that really shows what AI can do. And I'm just curious to learn about what was the learning? What did it improve? What was the experimentation? Even if it's something that you tried and was like, okay, that is not a good use case. I'd just love to learn about that.
Well, let me start with something philosophical, maybe. I think we exist to provide value to our tenants. So people are my biggest assets. So today, my property managers, engineers are oftentimes stuck behind the computers to do daily reportings, data collection to provide insights into what's going on. The use case that I'm right now dabbling with is how do I take my property managers out of their computers, out of their offices, and put them in front of the tenants on the floors, walking around, interacting. So the use case is all the data that comes out of accounting, need to produce monthly reports on variances. Just a bunch of reports got to produce by property managers that could take up to 4 hours in a week to produce. So that is the biggest use case to automate those things. Can AI pull data in and use logic from previous months, previous reports, and make a guess on the variances? And the property manager, all they have to do is just do one quick glance, quick checkup. Yep, looks good. Not quick edit, and submit reports. So they're on the field, they're on the ground, talking to customers, talking to tenants, and helping us grow our business and helping us give us better customer service to our clients.
That's really interesting. So, kind of looping that in back to the original challenge that you described about the data sets, what are, if any, I don't know, data sets that are used? How are you guys able to make it happen? What is the seamless part of it? Or is it a little bit of automation, a little bit of AI? And,
Sure.
there's always some fun mix there.
It's a fun mix, and it's because, again, it's so bespoke. We have multiple versions of our ERP solution accounting system for the properties, one owned and managed by us, one owned and managed by the property owners. So the ones that we own, I control, I manage. I can do a lot with that, obviously. So we have standard data sets. I know how to pull data automatically, quickly, and then I have the history of all my data, my history of all reports we have produced for similar clients. AI model is trained on that historical data and hence is able to produce a good, decent report. But again, I have told my people, do not trust AI. You must go and validate. It will hallucinate. So that's a key, right? It is not doing a job for you. It is helping you get to the 70, 80% line, and rest is up to you to review, clean up, add your unique perspective to make sure it's a finished product that you could stand behind.
That makes sense. There's a lot that I like about what you said, specifically what you said about the human and AI interaction. The fact that it's a partnership and it's not it's taking my job. No, it's partnering with me. And that's the thing that gets me so excited. And obviously, as an AI powered architecture practice ourselves, architects have to stamp their drawings. AI can't stamp drawings, and it has to be that partnership. So that's something that I can pull because obviously, in your case, it's all
Sure.
about the value to the customer, is I'm guessing is what you're talking about. So that's straight up improvement in the efficiency of your team. I'd be curious to see if there's other examples, other
Sure.
nuts and bolts stories that come to your mind. So that's a really awesome example of just making your team more efficient.
Absolutely. I think AI is not quite perfect yet, but it's good enough for us to use in our conversations to help come to a proposed design faster. So a story I would tell you, I was working with another company on commercial real estate. And their issue was whenever they have a new client who was trying to lease a floor, that process takes weeks. Okay, I want to have my office here, cubes here, kitchen here, meeting rooms here. Those conversations take weeks to see something visually. So we deployed a Gen AI solution where you, during a meeting, a salesperson, a lease broker can pull up a screen and ask an English prompt. I want two conference room, one kitchen in the middle, whatever. Within seconds, all of a sudden you have a floor plan ready. Again, not certified by an architect designer, but good enough for a conversation. Honestly, I think perfect for a sales conversation to show the prospect of what's possible. And I think we saw that use case grow to now their global leasing brokerage.
That's a really fascinating story. Um, on, like an actual real-time innovation and brainstorm and problem solving to better align. And it sounds like that's kind of the theme with which you leverage AI is to make your client experience better. And
Yeah,
in both stories, that's the one key that I pulled away. Is that mostly where you think it can have the biggest impact?
absolutely. Technology exists to improve the experience of its users, right? If it's not doing this, it's not doing its job. Yeah, I mean, digital client experience is the key. That this street to suite experience, right? And in high-end class A buildings, we must provide that experience with technology, with AI. So if I'm going to come to your office, somebody will say, Keys is coming tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Honestly, 2025, in a smart building, class A type property, it should know, okay, I'm coming in. It should let me in the garage. When I'm in the lobby, I don't want to deal with a security guard. It should just let me in, give me a QR code or something on my phone that I could scan, and it would just, send me to my floor where I operate in, and so
Yeah.
on, right? I think technology should remove friction, and add to the experience of the whole property, of the individuals visiting who are working over there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the dream is when it can solve all the annoying, painful parts that are not yet solved. I'm curious, even with the example that you originally shared, right? Like with your property managers, where y'all are leveraging it to help them give them more time to go talk to the customers and talk to the clients and be on the field. One of the things, obviously, that I've noticed is that change management can sometimes be a challenge. How did you get the team on board? How hard? How easy was it? Yeah, I'm curious to learn about that process.
So I've always said in my 25-year career, technology is easier for me. The hardest part is change management. Look, you got to bring in the right experts to do it. So key here was to start up with a small group, right? One property at a time. Have small wins, small successes, then you can share with larger audience. And once you grow large, you must bring in experts who do org level change management to assist you. So I partner with a company of fantastic folks to help us with that. But yeah, it is a challenge. It's a hard part. People are comfortable with their day to day. They're happy with the way I log on to this system. I download my files. I spend 3 hours copying pasting to Excel. So again, fear comes in. Whoa, AI is going to do this for me now. So what's my value, right? So honestly, even HR gets involved as well in communication. That no, we're making your life better. You're valued. At times, even goes back to your operation, the company. You need to rewrite job description at this point, so people know the AI is a part of your job function. It will augment you. It will give you more capacity to do your job better, faster, more efficiently.
Oh, that's a really cool thing. I don't think I've heard that before, specifically in real estate. So you're telling me that all the way down to the actual job description, it says something like you will leverage AI to do X, Y, and Z, and it's like a clear part of the role.
100%. Look, fundamentally, our lives will be changed drastically, I would say, next 3 to 5 years. Today, where AI is in general, just forget real estate. It's a little more than a lipstick, right? I mean, it's almost there. Frankly, to make good AI product, they need what's in the mind of my investors, my accountants, my property managers to replicate that. I'm talking to some folks who are now developing companies. They brought on former investment bankers, former real estate brokers who are now developing tools for AI. So I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to those tools because those will be built by industry experts, not just engineers who know some real estate. So when that happens, we'll see a fundamental shift how things will work in a company. A good example for IM in the investment space that I'm focused on quite a bit in my current job and also was in my previous role as well. Look, we're constantly being offered opportunities to invest in XYZ company, this deal, that deal, and the other. We have an army of junior analysts who go through packages, review things, and then step two goes to the senior analyst. Then they look at this process so cumbersome,
Yeah.
so spreadsheet and Slack or team driven. Can we
You're
not use
telling me you
AI?
don't like spreadsheets. Just kidding.
I live on spreadsheets. It's a reality, but can we at least reduce some spreadsheets, right?
Yeah.
So these folks actually are now training my model. How did you, the junior analyst, how do you review a fund, an offer, whatever deal this way. So we are training our own proprietary model to understand how they think, and hope. And the goal is hopefully once that is done, the funnel is now much bigger. We will dump those files into this AI funnel and process it, do first level of due diligence assessment, and to provide its risk assessment, its opportunity for a mid-level analyst or senior analyst. Okay, I'm not reviewing 50, I'm seeing 5 today.
Yeah.
Um, so we increase the funnel size, um, but then it comes back challenge. Okay, then how do I train these analysts to become senior? They have not gone through the step of. That's a discussion for a different day.
Yeah, but that's the discussion that's inevitably going to come to all the companies that are using AI to do services that were historically done by different levels of I mean, the same for us, right? Like junior architects, senior architects. If
Right.
everyone is immediately just becoming a senior architect because you don't really need that many junior architects anymore, it's basically the same analogy. And pretty quickly, it's all about like, well, what are these junior analysts doing? How do they get the experience if it's not by doing the model because AI did it. And if they didn't do it, when they do become senior, how do they know if it's done correctly or not? Because there's so much expertise that goes into evaluating it properly. It's definitely something I think about all the time. And it sounds like so do you.
Absolutely. I'm actually partnering with some universities in Houston and Dallas area to kind of provide this perspective. I think education needs to change. How we're producing accountants, engineers, that needs to be reviewed quickly, not wait 5 years to change the curriculum. I think the time is now.
Yeah, in 5 years, it's going to be too late. It's going to be
It's
done.
yeah, 100%. These young folks coming out of colleges now, even they're finding themselves, okay, not with AI, I'm an expert in accounting, I'm an expert in engineering, but I don't know how to code, how to use right prompt engineering. And there's just so much more to it, right? The whole data science behind it, right? You have to know good data. Some of the really good analysts I work with actually have background in data science. They actually do a lot better at their jobs because they can go write a quick Python code, do some analysis quickly, help me modify the model. So I think the shift in education needs to come quickly. We cannot wait 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I couldn't agree more. All right. So now it's time for the lightning round. So I wanted to switch gears a little bit and just throw a few rapid fire questions at you and get your first quick thoughts, not thinking too hard. Does that sound like a plan?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Okay, cool. What's one emerging tech in real estate or construction that you've seen in the world that you're personally excited about right now?
Look, I mean, I'm just going to be very generic. I think AI is making a lot of changes. AI in general excites me. But in the marketplace, I am talk to folks all the time. Nothing really that I would say that, yep, that's it.
Okay, so Keats, you have a very high standard. It's not easy to impress you, is what I took away from this rapid fire. You're like, keep trying, nothing yet.
Nothing really yet, honestly. What I'm seeing right now, they're mostly wrappers. Most projects are actually a services engagement. They're coming in, learning what we do, and developing how my people operate and think so they can replicate how we operate. I need somebody to come in, a product, an expert broker AI agent, an expert property manager AI agent, so I can help augment my business, my users.
Okay, all of you that are listening, take this advice and build that app and pitch it to Keats. And I'm hopeful the next time we do this, the answer will not be, well, keep trying, guys, come on. Well, what keeps you optimistic about the future, given especially all the rapid changes with AI, tech? I mean, some of the stuff that we even talked about the future. What keeps you excited? What keeps you optimistic?
Look, I think the industry as a whole is open to change. I've been speaking at a bunch of forums, meeting a lot of folks. A lot of young blood is coming in, and they're ready. They're ready to adopt technology. They know they need their ChatGPT type functions at work. I'm super excited. This company and previous company, so much more tech forward. They know they need this stuff to succeed. It's
Yeah,
not it's not a competition. Nope, this is my partner. So just different attitude about technology as opposed to their predecessors.
I like that a lot too. It's not the tech, it's the attitude. And that's what you said even before. You're like, technology is my friend. Change management's the hard part. Ah,
Yep, 100%. Absolutely.
okay. Well, the last one, if you weren't in real estate or tech, if you weren't in your current career path, what would be your completely different career path that you would be doing?
Boy, so I was a nerd sort of growing up. My background is actually not in technology. I went to school to study biology, marine biology. Was starting medical school. Decided first semester, not for me. Honestly, at this point, if I were to think about a different career, would be in academia, studying history, teaching history, anthropology, something in liberal sciences.
Professor Keats, I'd probably attend a class. I'm not a big fan of history, but I would attend your Professor Keats class. I would be a barista, I think.
I will
Sounds like a
I
low
will give you a
stress job.
different
Huh.
perspective, and I'll come to your coffee shop to get some caffeine.
Yeah, we'll have some free guitar playing, some coffee, get the caffeine. Obviously, you have to stop by the coffee shop to go teach. So why
Absolutely.
a teacher of history, anthropology? Like, why that?
I think there's so much to learn from it. Honestly, just in my career, 25 years in this industry, there's so many lessons to be had. I've gone through the whole dot-com boom, the ASP, which is now SaaS boom, the whole private equity roll up, then those companies start all over again. Massive layoffs post dot-com. History is again repeating itself in technology today. We've heard announcements from CrowdStrike and a bunch of other companies in recent weeks. I think if we can pay attention to history, not ancient past, but just the recent history, last 30, 40 years, uh, it's a lot to learn, a lot to ponder, and then we can chart a much better future based on that. So not just history in terms of what happened what year, truly, dig in. What's the perspective I should gain from this event, and how do I repeat or not repeat that event in my industry?
Yeah. Yeah, that's really fascinating. So as we come to a close of our conversation, I have one final question for you. We always ask our guests for actionable takeaways for listeners. So given all the change that is happening with technology and AI, what's one piece of advice that you'd give to leaders in real estate who are trying to navigate this change, especially when it comes to adopting AI innovation? What should they keep in mind?
Do not fear technology. Do not fear AI. Have a conversation with your technology leaders, with your lawyers. There are privacy concerns. Have those concerns addressed. And please go online. There are free courses online available on AI basics, what it is, what is AI, what is machine
Any
learning.
that you recommend specifically?
No, I wouldn't recommend any specific one at the moment. Honestly, there's so many good ones. I have a bunch of my favorite YouTube links I can share with you offline. But I think on LinkedIn, I see constantly just quick, quick 3 minute, 5 minute intro, what it is. It will pay dividends. Don't be afraid of technology. Technology is your friend, not your foe.
You heard it here first, folks. Technology is your friend. It is not your foe. I think that's a great piece of practical, reassuring advice is keep on going and don't be worried. Well, Keats, thank you so much for sharing your insights and experiences with us today. This has been a fast-paced and super insightful conversation and exactly what I was hoping for. I know our listeners will take away a lot of ideas and inspiration. Until next time, stay curious, keep innovating, and thanks all for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Real Estate Meets AI podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to the Real Estate Meets AI podcast on your favorite streaming platform and follow us on social media at cove.inc. Until next time, I'm Sandeep Ahuja.